Yo, what's up, guys? I just wanted today to talk about how you can beat the rising inflation prices. So, as you know, prices are just going up and up as the years go by. Grocery prices are going up. Gas prices are going up. Every house prices are going up. Inflation is going up, and you're probably wondering to yourself, how am I gonna beat this? My wage is not cutting it. My 9 to 5 job, the wages are staying the same, stagnant. They're not moving. Even like for minimum wage, it's barely going up. Like the price of houses are insane compared to the wages. Like nobody could afford it. Even if you team up with somebody else, a family member, a friend, you still very hard to afford it. And then you'd be spending all your time and money on mortgage and trying to work extra overtime to pay the mortgage and pay for groceries and to start a family. It's very unaffordable nowadays. It's not like how it was 10 to 20 years ago when our parents were able to afford houses for little to nothing, damn near like $10,000 and some peanuts, literally, and some grapes, and go to the bank with some, you know, it was affordable back then, but nowadays it's not affordable. So the real question is, how do you beat that inflation? How are you able to afford it? Well, number one, if you're in your 20s or your 30s or even your 40s, what you can do is work enough until you have an emergency fund. There's a lot of wind. You want to work enough until you have an emergency fund on you. At least 5,000, at least 10, at least 15, at least 20, at least a year of expenses. So why you want to have that year of expenses? Because you want to be agile. You want to be able to think clearly and think very peacefully, because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're gonna miss out on a ton of opportunities that are out there to make actual money and to actually make cash. So when you have that 1 year of expenses on you, you can go to your job and you're coming from a place of abundance when you don't have to do those extra tasks, or stay overtime, or you know do stuff you don't want to do, because you have that year of expenses. And on top of that, not only the year of expenses, but you have the skill set, you have the designations and the credentials to be able to go and shop around. Like, you can go to another job. Like, you're not just working a job, but you're actually you have a career. You have a skill set. So number one, you want to have that emergency fund saved up so you're agile, you're able to move around. And then number two, now what you want to do is learn about investing. So you want to learn about the stock market, you want to learn about cryptocurrency, and you also want to learn about something else, which is buying businesses. So number one, the stock market is very good if you earn a decent wage. If you're earning a wage of at least 5 figures to 6 figures, the stock market is amazing. If you're earning anything under 6 figures, you should focus on increasing your earned income to get to 6 figures. 6 figures right now is the new 5 figures. In this generation, it's very good to be making, but to start a family is very hard in this generation. But if you're making 5 figures, you want to see how you can make six, without working overtime. Because overtime is a robbery. The government is taking half of it. If you have a skill set that you're already making a base of 6 figures, then that is the key. So you want to increase your skill set so then you can always make 6 figures. Not you're making 5 figures and you're stressing yourself, hurting your body and hurting your health and hurting your long-term. That's your wealth. Your health is your wealth. So you don't want to be working overtime, especially if you're working a physical job. Like, if you're working a desk job, maybe it might be a bit easier, but still, that's a lot of mental space you're using up for somebody else's business. So increase your earned income to that by obtaining more qualifications, not trying to work harder. Not trying to work harder at all. And after that, then you can invest in the stock market. Cryptocurrency is also a really good thing, because they're saying that, in some years from now, like, well, like, like, let's say for example, like, do you use cash? Like, a lot of people don't use cash anymore. Like, maybe some people keep the cash in there, for church or something like that. You want to throw some money in the offering basket, or maybe like a Facebook, marketplace exchange if you're buying goods and services in person. But nobody uses cash anymore. Everyone uses their debit cards, credit cards. They have them on their phones nowadays, on the Apple Wallet, and you have different wallets that have credit cards already saved to it. So nobody uses cash anymore. So cryptocurrency is going to be something that is also really good, especially not even just crypto in general, but Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still going to grow. I do believe it's going to grow in another 10-20 years. So definitely look into it. You have people like big time players like Michael Saylor, Grant Cardone. They're heavily in Bitcoin right now. Like, Grant Cardone was never in Bitcoin before. Maybe he was before a little bit, but he switched his positions now. He's going like heavily into it right now. So Bitcoin, stock market, buying businesses or buying a franchise, like McDonald's, KFC, and Subway, these already built franchises. Well, you can actually buy into them and own a franchise and hire workers to work in the franchise and make a good amount of money. But of course, you need to invest that money first. You have to already have invested or already be making some good money to invest into something like that, because those cost at least 100, 200, 300 grand, 500 grand, some up to $1 million. Some McDonald's franchises cost up to $1 million. But once you actually purchase a McDonald's franchise, like, the amount of money you could be making per month is insane. So that's also a really good way to beat the inflation. But the main thing in this whole and everything I'm saying is your earned income. Your earned income. A lot of people, they want to live a lifestyle off their earned income. They want to go and enjoy themselves, party, turn up, buy nice cars, buy nice clothing off their earned income. And that's not the smartest thing to do, because it doesn't last. You have to take your earned income and make more income. Use your earned income to make more income, and then you preserve your capital. That's what the rich are doing. That's how the wealthy are staying wealthy. They're taking their earned income and they're spending it to make more earned income. Whether that's through businesses, selling products or services, or investing in themselves. They're investing in themselves. They're not trying to live a life off of earned income. And even if you have to live a life, or if you just don't want to do any of this stuff, and you still want to beat the inflation, you don't want to invest in businesses or anything, and you just want to live a life where you're just working and you're using your earned income to live a lifestyle, well, you can still invest in yourself to earn more earned income to live a better lifestyle, instead of working very shitty jobs, doing the bare minimum. A lot of jobs, they're going to get rid of you by lunch. If you don't do what they want done, they're going to get rid of you by lunch, or they'll get rid of you through an email the next day. They'll just let you know through an email. They won't even tell you in person. And then next thing you know, your cubicle that you were sitting in for the last 5 years, that you were enjoying your earned your lifestyle off that earned income, well, that cubicle has been packed up, and your things are right by the door. The next day you come in and you can't believe how, well, like, I thought this was my cubicle forever. No, it's not your cubicle no more. Or the next day, if you're working a hands-on job, well, your uniform has to be turned in the next day. You got to turn in your uniform. So that's like one of the most important things to do, is to actually figure out how you can earn more earned income, and not depend on no job. Like, no job's not gonna do nothing for you. It never did nothing for nobody. Maybe 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago it did. And that times was different, but now times are completely different. Like, you go to the grocery store and You buy 3 items and they're like for $70. Like that's insane. Like $70 for 3 items. Like I bought a pack of chicken, I bought some rice, and then I bought some strawberries or something, and it came up to like $12, like, or like not even 12, like $22. Like no, like, things are different, things are changing. A lot of people are still living with their parents, with roommates. Nobody's moving out. House prices, like, the people living in the houses are over 60 years of age, and they're handing it down to whoever their family members, their children. So when you see people that are your peers that are able to afford these places and these houses, well, it's from their 70-year-old parents that are finally handing it down to them. They're not actually going out to purchase them because it's impossible. It's not even possible nowadays. So to actually beat inflation, or to like somewhat even survive nowadays, you have to make sure that you're increasing your earned income by all means. And also, work as a team. Work as a team with friends and with family members. Start businesses with them. Start businesses with your friends. If you guys all pool up $2,000 together, right? If you have 5 friends and you guys say, okay, let's start up a car rental business. $2,000 times 5 people. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's $10,000, right? You guys can get a little car. Get on Turo, the app Turo. Start with your first car. Start, advertising it on Turo for, very cheap. Check out the competition. You gotta do your competition analysis, and then once you do that, you see how much the cars are going for rentals per day, and then you can go ahead and rent that car out, and then you can start off with that income that you're making and buy another one and buy another one, and then you could start a corporation and an LLC, something, and then you keep on going, and then you have some decent income coming in from like having a fleet of like 10, 12 cars with your friends, like, and you're making money, and then when tax time comes, you can actually write these off. You can write, okay, we spent this much money on advertising, we spent this much money on the cars, we spent this much money on going to lunch to talk about our business. You can actually write off your meals that you had that was related to the business. So, if you want more, I'm coming on here every day to talk more about finance tips. So follow the channel, subscribe. I also have a link down below to access my free guide on how you can make $500 to $1,000 a month passively, and I explain the whole entire steps and how much capital you need, and how you can get there. And it's very, 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 very reasonable, and it's very attainable. So check that out. I'll see y'all later.